morning, everybody. I'm Don. This is Rockin' the Country. You might be watching this in the afternoon or evening, of course, but I am doing this in the morning. And this is a gift request from MontaukEd. So, Ed, shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for this gift. And it's another Radney Foster song. I don't know this song, but the title has me intrigued. Half of My Mistakes. That's one of the, I love titles because they make me think, and you're like, all right, I have some ideas as to where this could go, but it's one of those titles where it's like, this thing really could go anywhere. So I'm going to get right into this thing. So thank you, Ed, for this gift and request of a song that I know is already going to send me in all kinds of directions, because I'm a philosopher by training and at heart, and a life coach, and so I looked through things through the lens in many ways of compassion, but through the tentacles that connect each of us to one another in various ways. Some very strongly, as in the case of marriage and kids, others just loosely in the way of acquaintances and colleagues or what have you. But the social fabric I look at to see what things work to maintain a social fabric, a social cohesion, and other things that dissolve it. So let's see what these mistakes are about. Sometimes you make a mistake and it turns out for your benefit. Like, for example, like whenever I get a new vehicle, new car, half the time, more than half the time, speaking of the title of the song, I'll press a button or it could be on the heating system or something in the car, and it'll be the wrong button, and then I'll be like, oh, that's what that does. I had no idea because I don't read the instruction book. God forbid I do that. So maybe half of his mistakes are good, or her mistakes. Interesting beginning.
Half of my mistakes I made stone cold sober. Half of my mistakes I made at closing time.
I gotta stop. That is brilliant right there. That was a creative effort. Half of my mistakes were made stone cold sober. The next line could have been, half of my mistakes, I was drunk. But that isn't what the lyricist did. The lyricist got a little more pinpoint. Half of my mistakes were made at closing time. That's different. But that's creative. That was the product of thought. I don't think that came instantly.
Half the time I never saw it coming till it was over. Oh, half of my mistakes I've made with love on the line.
That was good writing too.
Half of my mistakes I swear I should have known better. Half of my mistakes were just amongst friends. You get a little distance on it, the truth is clearer.
It is.
On half of my mistakes I'd probably make them again.
Maybe.
And if I had it all to do over, sure I'd win and lose just as much, but spend less time on right and wrong and a lot more time on love. Half of my mistakes I made 'cause I was moving too quickly.
Yeah, I feel that sometimes.
Half of them were made 'cause my heart was moving too slow.
Oh, I've done that.
Nobody can tell you a damn thing if you ain't listening. Oh, half of my mistakes I've made 'cause I couldn't let go.
Let it go. songwriters, very, very observant.
Half of my mistakes I'd give anything to change how it ended.
Only half.
Half of my mistakes, God, I wouldn't change a thing.
There you go.
You can lean too hard on regret, but I don't recommend it. 'Cause half the good things in my life came from half my mistakes.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, a lot of good things in my life came from half my mistakes.
That's the dynamic of life right there. That's why I said I commented on a recent song reaction that, and this is my way of life. I don't have to be the determinant of the direction much of life goes in. Like, people rely too heavily on their own preferences. You could go on somebody else's journey with them and let them decide. And what do you value more? Getting your way? Going on this one vacation spot, going to dinner just where you want it, getting the house just the right color, or what these sorts of things? Or do you value more about the fact that you're on a journey with somebody else, and that is going to be this vibrant thing? And it's also like that expression. I don't like cliches, but some of them are they should stop and make you think. Some of them very well crafted expressions that have become cliches, but be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. And that bespeaks, like, yeah, you think your intentions and your thought processes are all just sort of laid out from start to finish. Your argument's a really good one. Argument, and I don't mean a fighting argument, I mean your position, the reasons behind why you want to do a given thing, have a given thing, do a given thing with someone else or what have you. And you think they're rock solid, and then it turns out that they become disastrous because you didn't have the full picture. Life is too dynamic anyway. On the flip side, the obverse of that is getting things as a product of your mistake. You wind up in the wrong area. You wind up at the wrong store. I don't know. Pick your thing. And yet it turns out really good. And we tend to forget those things. I like the song, illustrating the idea that sometimes it's all right to get what you didn't think you wanted. Other times it's a disaster to get what you did want. And I mean, cheating is one of them. You think you want that girl, you think you want that guy, even though you're committed to someone else, and then you do it, and then you find out, one, it's over, so the fun part's done. Now you got to live with the guilt, or you get caught in your marriage and all that, so you lose your kids, all that stuff. Then you find out, well, Jesus, I really didn't think that through. And some things are much more obvious than others, like cheating. Cheating's like a given that, like, this is really not a good idea. Other things, not so, but that does bespeak the dynamic of life. It is very full. You made a left turn instead of a right turn at the traffic light, and then you wound up at a different, fresh produce market, and that's where you ran into an old high school buddy or somebody, and then that friendship resurrects. Beautiful thing. Had you made the right-hand turn, you never would have known that you missed that person at the fresh market. But the dynamic of life is far too rich, and we think that we're in control of stuff. We try to be, and we need to make good decisions, right? You do. I mean, speeding on the high in a residential area, that's a bad decision, and that is a choice you have. Not everything is a choice that we can make. And I don't mean that in any kind of macabre, God is in control type of way. I just mean there are so many variables uh, on planet Earth that affect how things play out. Stock market investing is a classic example. Warren Buffett said that most of the best investments he made were the ones he never made. And he was inclined to invest in a company, but something didn't seem right. And then it would go belly up. He didn't invest in it. And then later on, it would go belly up or just lose market value and whatever. And there's another expression about investing that who said, maybe Milton Friedman, or it might have even been Buffett himself again. I'm not sure, but that the markets can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. And it's like, there's so many things that just don't follow some seemingly rational pattern in life. And you don't have all the bases covered, but I love half of my mistakes. I'd make them again, but because they turned out to be actually good things. I wasn't thinking of making those mistakes, but hey, here we are. Ed, you found another diamond in the rough out there, as you do. I don't know how you do it. I honestly don't. I couldn't do it at your level, so to speak, I don't think. This is not that it's a competition. It's not. It's an admiration of how you get these songs that just get me going. And heck, Jeff Cather would even approve of this one, I think. I'm not sure. But it was interesting guitar work in this. It seemed distorted purposely, sort of in the middle of the song. I don't know what part of the song you call that. It's not the bridge, I don't think, but it's the instrumental interlude that most songs have, or many do, and unless it's Bob Dylan or something. But it was distorted, and maybe that just shows that the sort of emblematic of the way life is lived. So, all right, I will rate this song, and on instrument lyricism, not even the way Radney sang it. He sang it fine, but the lyrics were a 9.3. That's what this song was. I mean, if you just put those words on a page, these words would be impactful and interesting. A lot of songs wouldn't be. They'd be mundane. The thing that makes them come to life and makes that is the way an artist is singing it, the way the producer put it together, the instruments that come in and go out, and you got your fiddle, and it all tickles the ears. This is one of those songs, rare songs, that the lyrics are so real about how life works. There you go. All right, guys, enjoy it. Thank you again, Ed. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you on another video and keep rocking the country.